Hi guys, welcome to Taste to Explore. My name is Darlene. Now on this episode, my friends, I am bringing you how to make sofrito. We are going to make a small batch today, and I really am thrilled to make this for you guys because my very first YouTube video was how to make sofrito, and I made a real big bunch. Like, I meant to make for like 2 months worth to put in the freezer because it freezes so well. But I have come across some people that wanted to know how to make this, but in a much smaller batch, which I get it, I understand. So now I'm bringing you this recipe. It's super easy, super delicious. It goes with anything. You can put this on, as a seasoning prep to any kind of meat: turkey, chicken, lamb, pork, anything. You can use this as a seasoning blend for your stews, your soups, your Spanish rice, your beans. I mean, you can put this in pretty much every savory dish. It's delicious. It's full of herbs and spices, and it is marvelous, and very easy to do, very simple to make, much more delicious than you buy in the frozen food section, because those are full of salt and additives, and this is just fresh. So now let's begin. It's really simple and easy, so stick around. Alright guys, now let's begin. So simple and easy. Now right here I have a whole head of garlic, which is about 30 of these garlic cloves. If you buy them in your supermarket already in a little baggies, they're perfect. I mean, they save you the trouble of taking them out of the bulb, which that's what I do. I mean, I don't want to trouble myself removing that. Alright, so right here I have 2 medium-sized yellow onions. You can use white, you can use red, and you can use the big ones if you want. If you want to use one big Spanish yellow onion, that will be perfect. And over here as well, I have 1 green bell pepper. You can use any color bell pepper, the red ones, the yellow ones, orange, whatever you can use. I'm just using green today, and I have 1 large and one. I have 1 bunch of culantro. Now this comes in a little baggie by itself, and you can use just 1 little baggie. As you can see, I had just took it out and I have rinsed it off. Now the difference with this is that, I don't know if you can tell, but there's a little spiny in the corners right here, and the leaf is longer and thinner, and this is how you can tell it is culantro, which is, a cilantro cousin, if you want to call it like that. This is very strong in its flavor, and it just blends wonderful in this sofrito. Next I have cilantro. Now in my supermarket it comes in a bunch like this, so if you can find just 1 bunch, that would be perfect. And you can tell that it is so different from parsley because it has a distinctive smell, and the leaves look a little different but almost alike, so try not to get confused. If you smell parsley, it doesn't really have a particular odor. Cilantro is very distinctive, so you can definitely tell that it's definitely not parsley, and it's not as green as parsley is. Parsley tends to be much more darker. This one has just a teeny bit of a light note to it, but it is marvelous in this particular blend. Alright my friends, so now let's start chopping our onions. Please be careful and try not to cry in this process, because I cannot stand cutting these guys. So what helps for me is I cut them in the sink, near my sink area, and I quickly rinse them off. That helps with the onions not you know, bothering your eyes, which is terrible, right? So you just want to roughly cut this, nothing fancy. All right, you're just gonna roughly cut it in half. Doesn't make a difference. Doesn't have to be equal half, and just quarters. That's it. That's all you need, because our food processor will do the rest. All right, so next we're gonna start cutting this bell pepper. It's really simple, really easy. You just want to remove the cheeks and make sure that you don't, you know, put any seeds. If 1 or 2 goes in, it's not a big deal. You can just roughly chop it just like that. Remember, the machine is gonna do the rest, and you want to use every area except the insides, like that. You know, you're just gonna take out the white membrane with all the seeds, and you're gonna roughly chop them just like that. I had already washed all my veggies and cilantro and culantro, so I'm good to go once I get to this far. And I'm going to continue on with this, and that's really about it, my friends. All right, my friends, so these are, and I think I'm going to pronounce them wrong, but these are called Ajicito Dulces, which is basically like sweet little peppers. Now they come in a variety of colors. It just so happens the ones that I picked is all green, but these, you have to be really careful when you pick these out, because these look very identical to Scotch bonnet peppers. Very identical. Those Scotch bonnet peppers are hot. These are mild and sweet, and they add a wonderful flavors to your sofrito. Sometimes they're hard to get, and you will have to do without them. But if you find them, definitely put them in. I usually just rinse them off, take off the stems, and I leave them whole like that, even with the seeds in it. It doesn't affect not one bit. To my sofrito blend. Okay, my friends, so right here I'm using one of my food processors. It's a classic one. I had it for a very long time. It's pretty old, but it works amazingly well still. So you can use a food processor or a blender. I particularly like how the food processor grinds everything up. It leaves it in a nice chunky style, which if you were to use it in a blender, it will blend up almost like a smoothie, which they're both will be good, but my preference is to see some chunks in mine, which I will show you how that looks in a minute. So in no particular order, I am going to start with putting my garlic, and I'm going to put the whole thing in. Okay? Next, I'm going to put in my green bell peppers, and remember I told you I roughly chopped them because the machine is just going to do the entire part of the cilantro. Now, to help this blend just a little bit, I am going to be using some vegetable oil, canola oil, corn oil, and even light olive oil will work too. And I'm just gonna, this is a half a cup. I'm just gonna put in maybe like 1/3 of a cup, not very much, just to help. I'm just gonna blend this portion first. Then once it blends well and it chops it down perfectly, I am gonna continue putting on the rest. You don't want to over stuff your machine, because you want to make sure that everything has a chance to blend well and really become a nice consistency, which I'm going to show you. Amazing this looks. I simply love the fact that the food processor makes it nice and chunky, but yet it's marvelous. Now if you don't have a food processor, don't you worry. You can use a blender, you can use a nutribullet. This can blend up easily with anything. Alright my friends, so using a container of your choice, we are going to fill this up right now. So easy. Oh my god, and it smells so, oops, I made a little mess. It smells so amazingly good. Alright my friends, this is the last of it, and it made enough for this one jar. But like I said, this is easy to do. It freezes perfectly well. Look how delicious that looks. Alright my friends, so now that you know how to make your very own sofrito, you can stop purchasing it in the grocery store and make it yourself. So super easy, super delicious, no artificial flavors in it, just pure deliciousness. This will bring so much wonderful flavors to whatever dish you decide to make. Of course, only savory dishes. And if you make yours particularly different than how I'm showing you today, share with me in the comment below what you add to your sofrito, because I know there has to be like tons of ways to prepare it, and I will love to hear from each and every one of you. So give this a try. Happy cooking. This is simply delicious. You're gonna love it. You can store this in your freezer for, get this, 6 months. This stores beautifully in the freezer, and you can make a whole bunch of little jars, stick it in your freezer. You'll be good for a long time. Now in the refrigerator, I would suggest, if you're not cooking with this every day, put it in a small container, and that will be good for about 2 to 3 weeks. So put it in the back of your refrigerator where it's the coldest, and that will stay even longer, maybe even 3 weeks to a month, depending on the temperature of your refrigerator, how cold it is. It does well when it's sitting in the back. So thank you once again, my friends, for joining me today. I will leave you all the ingredients names in the description box below, as well as links to my social media sites. So please follow me along there. I would love to hear from each and every one of you. And until next time, my friends, happy cooking, and I will see you again. Have a blessed day. Take care. Bye bye.